Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Moti Veda Vivagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatoshmaham Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Welcome. We are 10th chapter, the first verse in which Krishna. This chapter is called Vibhuti Yoga, yeah? Which means Vibhuti Yoga.
The glories are Vibhuti.
Glory. Okay. The glory of Ishvara, something like the glory of devotion. He mentioned something at the beginning. It's Vibhuti Darshana, and the greatest advantage, we will be humbled by this. So he begins by glorifying the Lord, glorifying the scripture, and glorifying those who come to these teachings, and by which we purify and refine to develop certain qualities, or how do you say, even qualities, I forgot the word in English, among those humbleness.
Do you mean to say virtues?
Virtues. Thank you. I have a student of mine. She's coming today, by the way. She's with me since a long time. Every time I forget a word, she picks more or less. Very often, she knows exactly the word I'm looking for. Thank you. You're doing the same. Okay, so we grow in virtues as we move on with our study, with our sadhanas, with our nididhyasana. And then after Swami has presented us with all this introduction, the first verse tells that the Lord says to Arjuna, "O Arjuna, once again you may listen to my supreme words, which I, wishing your welfare, shall tell you who are delighted." So when I read this, I found it beautiful, the fact that a true devotee is always extremely happy, delighted every time he listens to these words. So it's one of the indicators that the person is really hot, is really appreciative, has really developed a huge value. It's somehow, it gives us that sense of delightfulness, happiness, peace. No? So this chapter, we do not have any questions from Arjuna to begin with. Krishna begins begins the dialogue, giving an answer. "Hey Arjuna, you are a very dear student, and I know that you are highly qualified because I see the delight in your face. Yeah? And you are one of those rare ones, and I wish you the best, and I will again, present to you these supreme words. Now that you are here in front of me, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I'm going to talk more. Just as disciples are interested in good gurus, oh, the guru loves to meet a real, sincere, and mature and qualified student. Good students always inspire the guru, and guru's creativity is activated every time there is this interaction between disciple and guru. This is absolutely true. If the disciple face is castor oil off and on looking at the watch, the guru loses its inspiration, loses its creativity. The guru is sometimes even stops talking. When I do this with people present, I just stop. It cuts me off when I see people chi and spacing out, and not really giving the proper respect and value to the words of the scripture. So here he puts the guru loses inspiration, creativity. He even forgets the scripture, forget everything that he knows. So in Ketopanishad, uh, Yamadhamaraja himself congratulates Nachiketas, offering prayers to the Lord. Oh Lord, may I get more disciples like Nachiketas, and so on, and a few others. Like that, Krishna has got a wonderful disciple, Arjuna. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, you are a source of inspiration to me, myself as well. Therefore, I'm going to talk. Therefore, Arjuna, you may you once again listen to the supreme words of the Lord. What do you mean supreme words? Words are always the same. How can you say that these words are supreme or not? So they come from the supreme intelligence, the supreme power. So we are dealing with this intelligent principle we call Ishvara, which is the supreme lord of this apparent order. So it has laws and principles. Among those spiritual principles and laws, as unfolded in the teachings of Vedanta and the Gita. Therefore, these words coming from the supreme source are called supreme words. Very simple. The nature of the God is the supreme intelligence. So therefore, Krishna, having an opportunity, not having to make a coffee, a big pot of coffee, very hot to hold Arjuna for 1 hour, he says, so you are so hot that I don't need to give you hot coffee. So I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to talk, 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 talk until you are tired. You are the most dear disciple to me, my favorite one, of course. Guru should not have favorite disciple. Here the idea is that you are responding. Prayamanaya. So I would say that Ishwara does not have any favorite disciples. The whole idea that Ishwara loves this or that disciple. Ishwara is a principle, as a system. It does not have preference or special favor to anybody. Okay, but Krishna, which is a manifestation of Ishvara as an avatar, he has this human element within himself that makes him also a jiva. Therefore, he may have favorite disciples, yes, and it's my understanding that gurus have certain, I say, special feelings or affinities and favors, appreciation to the disciples. I mean, it was said here before, when the disciple is really, attentive and joyful, the guru, of course, prefers that disciple rather than the one who is just watching, looking at the watch or spacing out again and again. It's in human nature. The guru is going to have a certain preference and certain affinity and appreciation to such disciples. Yeah? So not only I see you as my dear disciple with incredible trust and appreciation, I'm teaching the supreme words because this is going to even be more beneficial to you. And he says that in that passage, I wish you your welfare. I want you to go all through with these learnings, with this self knowledge, and you are dear to me. And I know that you are these teachings are very dear to you. I know that you're going to gain so much because we know when the disciple is not really uh, mature, does not have enough appreciation, does not have, they did not develop enough value to these liberating teachings. So it's to teach people like that. It's like planting seeds in a soil which is conditioned by by just sand, among improper soil, desert soil. So of course the teacher is now very excited because he knows that it's not going to be beneficial to the person on the other side. Yeah? But when you see that, wow, there goes one rare candidate to self-knowledge, and this teaching is extremely beneficial. It's in fact is what these disciples is waiting for, and then both disciple and guru they're on the same page, and both are very very inspired and delightful. So the idea is Krishna is not going to get any benefit out of it, and because Krishna does not require any benefit, but Krishna is going to enjoy it. Is going to be delighted to share this teaching with a highly qualified and disciple. Okay, of course, Krishna has nothing to gain except the joy of finally enough here and there qualified student. There is a joy in it. Not that Krishna is going to get something in terms of spiritual development, but it's going to get a certain appreciation and joy. Krishna says, I have nothing to accomplish. Swamiji is putting words in his mouth. But no, he's talking about chapter 3, verse 22 of the same Gita, I believe. Is it Gita? Yeah, third chapter of Gita. I have nothing to accomplish in this universe. Yes, of course. So self-knowledge and moksha is the accomplishment that puts an end on the process of want to gain and accomplish more and more things as if I could get fuller and more complete or more satisfied uh, or more whole. No. You got the knowledge that solved that problem of becoming, of improvement, of more. But still, I enjoy present these teachings to you, Arjuna, and out of compassion to you and love for the teachings, and I joyfully I'm going to teach you more because Jesus, my Swardharma, says about Krishna. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm putting more words on the mouth of Krishnaji. And then the next verse is a continuation. It says, "Neither the gods nor the great sage know my origin, because I'm the origin of themselves, the gods, and the great sage in all respects." So he's just saying that unfortunately, some of these highly, say, developed or respectful sages and gods, a lot of the times they don't know really that there is only one source, one origin, and this origin is God. And the nature of God is exactly the same nature, identical to the nature of all gods and sages. Uh, so, but here you say that neither the gods nor the great sage. So, what is a sage then? Gods, we know that not necessarily they have self-knowledge, but we would have to understand here that he referred to some sages which are not really wise, which are not really Leonis, no? But they are great sages. So I don't understand very much this nuance, but it refers to people who are religiously very respected by others. We have seen several metaphors and stories in the Gita describing such situations. And then some of these sages, some of these gods develop even vanity and arrogance and ego. Well, so in this verse, we introduce these are introductory verses, it seems. Ishvara nature, the knowledge in respect to Ishvara nature is presented here, is the subject matter. It's being introduced. And in this verse, Krishna points out that Arjuna, do not tell me that you learn the same topic that you learn from these sages out there. Now I understand. He's poking on the gurus out there, on the sages out there, you know, on these pretenders, yeah, or even these gods. Yeah? So do not tell me that you can learn or you have learned from these other sages out there. You cannot tell me that you learned already. Oh, this I have heard already and I know. Because none of these people know my glory in its entirety. So none of these people are really wise people, yanis. Okay, they have certain glories in respect to the insights they got, but they did not get the insights through and through in order to understand the nature of God, the glory of God in its entirety. And then he says, I and I alone can know the glory in its full measure. And then he's talking also to us here, because he may even saying like even the gurus out there, you know, they are not gurus in the same sense as I am. That's why we say that Krishna represent Guruji, you know, uh, unfolding, exposing these teachings is the ultimate Guruji, is the greatest guru, yeah? Because he says, I am an avatar, I know everything about the nature of God, I know about your nature as well. Some gurus of them may know my nature as identical to their nature, but they don't know my glory in its full measurement. Yeah? Nobody can know it because all others are born later. Everything is just emerged from me. Yeah? It's born out of me. All others are finite in nature. Therefore, how can a finite mind ever know the glory of the infinite God? So there is something beautiful here that I'm having a certain insight here is when you receive the knowledge from Ishvara, because here Krishna talks in terms of Ishvara. As we know, Brahman cannot talk, communicate, or none of that. So he talks in terms of Ishvara, and Ishvara is is omniscient, is all-knowing. Okay, on the knowledge of everything he has, not only the knowledge in respect to every phenomenon in nature, but every phenomenon, every aspect of itself as Saguna God, and of course the simple knowledge in respect to Nirguna, the Nirguna nature of every of Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagat. But he knows everything about Nitya, but Jagata and Jivas, and he knows everything about his own glory as Ishvara, the supreme intelligence, the omniscient principle. Everything was born from this principle. Everyone is finite by nature. How can minds which are finite ever know in its entirety the glory of this infinite God, Lord? Therefore, Arjuna, you have to learn from one source only. You have to learn it from me. So therefore, continue to listen, understand the privilege you have to receive these teachings from me. So you see, it talks to our privilege as well, because fortunately, due to our sampradaya, these teachings, these conversations, they were preserved to come and reach us as well. Now we have received the teachings from Krishna Guru, who speaks as the supreme knowledge, as Ishvara. And then he says, even gods do not know my full glory. We understand that concept of God. God is not synonymous of, of moksha or self-knowledge. Huh? So, and how about the gurus? And that is what we found in Keno. In Keno Upanishad, we remember the story of the devas. They became very arrogant and proud, and the Lord had to appear to send them a special entity or deity to teach them a lesson. They were humiliated, and humiliation has a beautiful place in itself. It produces humility. Sometimes humiliation is the best way to bring about humility to people, to the ego. Even Indra got humiliated. When Indra Devata prayed to the Lord, and instead of asking him for anything, he asked, so bring me the guru. Okay? So that is the bottom line of bottom line of this. So he asked, I want the teachings. Okay? So I don't want to prove my power. I just I realize my vanity, my arrogance, and now please teach me. And then he appears as the guru, which was that deity that came with the scriptures to teach, uh, to teach Indra Devata. So, though they cannot Upanishad story, it is pointed out that even devatas cannot know the full nature of God. Therefore, Sura Ganaha means Deva Ganaha. They do not know me. They do not know my glory, my power. I am pure knowledge, pure sattva guna. They will never know everything. I know. I'm the only one all knowing principle. Even the greatest gurus and rishis do not know my glory entirely. So he's really speaking as Ishwar, the all knowing Ishwar, the supreme knower. And what is the reason? He himself gives the reason because Aham eva adihi. I am their cause, they are the effect. I am in, I am their creator. They were created, they come out of me. They come later. And not only they have come late, they have got limited mind, limited intellect, limited instruments of knowledge. And whatsoever knowledge they get in respect to the nature of God, of Saguna God, as the omniscient, all knowing God, is very limited because our intellect is very, very limited itself. Okay? So we get some inspiration here and there that comes from Ishwara as well. Yeah? So we get some good insights here and there, creativity, it comes from Ishwara. Everything comes from that source. That's why we say the true Guruji knows that whenever there is more creativity and inspiration and so on, the Guru must know if he is not, if he or she did not lose its way, he knows it's coming from Ishwara, everything. Therefore, Aham Adihi, I am the cause of Devana, of all the devas, including Brahmaji. In the Puranas, if you read, when Brahmaji appears from the navel, he sees darkness everywhere. He does not see a second thing. He does not know anything, including his own nature. Imagine suddenly you find yourself surrounded by darkness. Nothing is there. And Brahmaji got frightened as well. So Brahmaji got frightened. Then he did tapas. And as a result of tapas, he acquires knowledge given by Vishnu. So Ishvara say, okay, so you understood you know nothing here, huh, Brahmaji? You may know things about this world of jivas, but if you look around, you don't see knowledge. You see only darkness. Brahmaji got frightened, and then he had to do sadhanas and tapas, asking for knowledge. And he acquired knowledge which was given by Ishvara, the original creator. So even Brahmaji received this knowledge from Ishvara. Brahmaji initially was ignorant. He sees only darkness. He means to say he did not have the light of knowledge, clear in his mind. Then Vishnu himself, Ishvara, sends him all this body of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Therefore, how can anybody talk about my glory? They themselves do not know it. So I am the cause, and everybody else, including Brahmaji, is just an effect. I am the cause, the karana behind all the great rishis also. In its total sense, in its entirety. What do you mean by that? I'm not only the nimitta karana, I'm also the upadana karana. It's not that I create them. In fact, I myself manifest as everything. So he is not only the all-knowing, the intelligent cause, but he is the manifestation. He is the material cause which appears as the universe, which includes all the rishis. So among mortals, the perverse, that discriminative ones who knows me to be the birthless, causeless, and the great Lord of the universe becomes freed from all sins. Okay, it's this concept of sins, no? It's free from the sins, no? Uh, I may understand that sin here is like making a sin is just a failure in observing Dharma, the laws and principles by which the Lord structured this universe. And then we violate these laws and principles, and that it means we are committing an error, a sin. And we put sins in the Christian culture as a little bit of a heavier connotation, but here is just an error. And when we make an error, we hurt ourselves, we hurt others, we hurt the environment because we are not have enough discrimination or self-control in respect to our words and deeds. So, but those highly discriminated people who got to know my true nature to be the beginningless, birthless, causeless, and my nature as well as the great Lord of the universe, they are free from error. So it's a good indication as well that self-knowledge should purify the individual so that we largely become purer to the extent that we don't hurt people and other creatures or the environment around us with our adharmic tendencies, impulsive, emotional tendencies, or whatever. You understand? So the individual must become a little bit more and more and more towards purer, saint-like, pure, and this is a gradual process. So you need a lot of discrimination and then continuous connection or association with the scriptures and your guru to the extent that you understand more and more the laws and principles which are the, the nature, which translates to be the nature of the Lord Ishvara, yeah? The Lord of the universe, so that we no longer commit sins, you know, confusion, uh, aviveka. We need to purify, as Swami Paramarthananda often puts, to the extent that we do not have those violent emotions every time our needs, our desires and fears are not conformed. If a person is an intelligent one, he will certainly apply his mind to know the nature of Ishvara as the cause of this universe. It's only the inferior, ordinary type of mind which will be satisfied with knowing a few things here and there about God, sufficient learning for earning food. That is why modern education is based on. So, if you don't have a very sophisticated, pure, and refined mind, so you are going to try to invoke the nature of God, to understand the nature of God, to invoke the grace of God for the sake of security and a few other things, worldly things, like earning food. Swami presents here one of his examples of one of his experience. He was in CA, maybe Calcutta. I don't think it's California. I don't remember, so I'm going to this state. Then it was then one time no, it was CA. Then it was computer. Okay, one time it is a problem with air condition. Yeah, then computer. So we are learning something, not for knowing something and improve ourselves, which degree will fetch me job. And da, 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 da. So many people are satisfied with that knowledge. Now, I think it's electrical power, currency or something, CA. So a technology comes, computer comes, we learn things. There are so much we can get in education. It has certain practical value. Many people are satisfied with worldly knowledge because their intellect is not mature. The soul is immature, is not sufficiently developed to want to get this knowledge. They want something, some benefit in this loka or some other locus. But anytime there is a real developed intellect, it will always ask the question, where did this universe, myself included, and the world and all creatures come from? What is the cause? Who created this? You know? So a sensitive, a refined, and developed intellect will come to this question. But a gross mind, they take into materialism and says there is nothing like God. There is no supreme intelligence principle, nature, matter, just to happens by accident, develops itself by itself, you know, as if something like that would be possible. Inert matter producing sentience or, or human consciousness. But anybody with a little bit more sensitivity would come to this question. So what's the origin of all of this? Is there a cause? The scientists are always trying to arrive at what they call sometimes the God particle, and here is the theory of everything. They want to find a theory that can just mathematical sometimes equation or a theory that applies to all phenomena in the universe. One basic principle that somehow poof appears as the entire cosmos. Cause hunting, they are looking for a cause. As I said, the God particle. So some others are going to observe phenomena such as gravitation, Newton, ask a question. So, but those are all mediocre intellects, materialist scientific intellects. A thinking intellect will like to arrive at another question. What is the such a mature intellect is called mm, a discriminating intellect, a mature intellect, a muda. Mature intellect, discriminate intellect, wants to know the creator. There is no creation without a creator. It appears to be a miracle. It appears to be intelligently designed. So I want to know what is this intelligent principle that structures everything so beautifully? What is the cause of the cosmos, the universe? If you have a problem with the word God, you can use any other word, existence, like my first guru used to say. And then there is no God, and then he started using existence. Only very, very evolved, mature, intelligent person will get to know the nature of the creator as the Jagata Karana, the cause of the universe, cause of Jagata. And what kind of God is it? It has a birth, it's within time, within space, where does it live, what its location, which are the powers, and so on. No, it's beginningless and it was not born, was not born, was never born. If God also would have a birth, and then the universe would have to be born out of God sometime later on. So God will not be the ultimate cause of the universe because we'll have to be somehow within the time. A time God appeared and then the world was created and then so the God appeared within something else and then it means to say there must be another scale of time from where we can say this is when God was born, and then He creates the world. So, and then, okay, then we need to take that into another timeline in which the birth date of God was established. Therefore, an ultimate cause should be something that was not caused and totally outside of the concept of initiation or birth. Well, Krishna says, I'm the birthless, beginningless principle, and therefore, Anadincham, I'm without a cause. I'm the causeless cause of the universe. Nothing has caused me. I'm not within the law of causality, which exists from myself, originates from myself in this meteor order. Ajam, birthless. Anadin means causeless, because causeless, therefore birthless, both are interconnected. If you read the Puranas, They put it in a normal form that God is father and mother. They will be sitting Kailasa and then somebody will ask, so who are your parents, God? So these are just initial concepts in respect to God within time, locations, and so on. For beginners, Puranas are for beginners. Parvati is the luckiest daughter-in-law because Brahmaji was not born, so she does not have to have a mother-in-law. This Purana is put in the form of a family and so on. But if you scientifically analyze the nature of God, you'll see that it's causeless and therefore only. There is only one God as the controller and the creator of the universe. Okay. Yeah, science will never get even close to understand the true nature of God. So scientifically, sooner or later, they have to give up and say there is no way to scientific to establish the initiation of God, the birth of God. Therefore, God must be birthless if there is God, because they not necessarily agree to this concept of God, the Creator. So not only Srishti Karanam, but also Stiti Karanam, and such Srishti Chiti Laya Karanam. This discriminate person will come to understand God as both cause, the intelligent and material cause. He is the most intelligent disciple among all human beings. Those are the Vedantins. He is using this life for for this worth knowledge, the ultimate purpose, which is to gain his most precious knowledge. Such a great person gets immense benefits. He becomes free from all sins or papas of the samsara. He becomes liberated. So that this is another way to understand that sin passage, because it says that when you shift your identification, your identity from the body mind, the doer and the experiencer of the results, so you transcend punya and papa. So he's free from papas, which would be the byproduct of sins. So how is the Yanya or the sage transcending all of that by not owning anything, past actions, nowadays actions, and future actions? Therefore, the papas are never really taking as my papas as well the punyas. He is liberated due to this shift of identification. So when I say he will become liberated, you should be careful. The Ishvara that we are describing here is only the second stage. We have to go to the third level of knowledge, and this person will sooner or later go to the third level and will get liberated by what? By the understanding of the Nirguna Atman nature of the true Lord. You're going to need to go into the Upanishad teachings, which are built into the Gita as well. You see Shwara as the material cause, the intelligent cause. You see Shwara not apart from the material universe. And then you're going to have to go to the third stage that establish that Ishvara is of attributeless nature. Okay, this intelligence, this supreme intelligence, is just a superimposition of sattva guna upon that which is conscious existence, the true nature of Ishvara, free from attributes, which includes Sattvaguna, pure Sattvaguna. The fifth verse, intelligence, knowledge, non-delusion, patience, truthfulness, sense control, mind control, pleasure, pain, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, contentment, austerity, generosity, fame, and ill fame. All these different dispositions of beings are born out of me alone. So he begins presenting several qualifications or virtues, the intelligent knowledge, the ability not to fall into delusion, the qualification of being patient and being truthful, being disciplined, control of the mind. And then he says, mind, control, pleasure, and pain. So even those opposite pairs, such as birth and death, pleasure and pain, you know, fear and fearlessness, violence and non-violence, equanimity, all those features, contentment and sadness, austerity, generosity, everything, all these attributions, all these different human dispositions, they belong to the Lord. They are born out of me and me alone. He supplies everything, numberless jivas with numberless configurations of qualities and dispositions. So this third verse is, with this verse, the introduction is over in the verse 1 and 2. Before we talk about Ishvara nature, now it seems he's shifting to Jiva nature. Ishvara nature includes all the attributes and all the dispositions of all jivas as well. You know, the positive, which are the conducive to self-knowledge and moksha, and the negatives, which are obstacles to self-knowledge and moksha. All of that is part of what I like to refer to as Ishvara system. All pairs of oppositions, opposites, all punya papas, all favorable dispositions, unfavorable dispositions, all those tendencies that elevates me and all those dispositions that makes me stuck or decline. Krishna presents the subject matter briefly in this verse up to the verse 11. He presents the subject matter briefly. Arjuna later on will ask for more elaboration. So in this portion, Krishna points out that God alone has manifested in the form of the entire universe, because God is a mixture of spirit, consciousness, plus matter slash energy. So God is a mixture of everything. Therefore, God is the incarnation, the universe, the cosmos is the incarnation of God due to this mixture with energies and matter. The Lord alone has magnified himself, elaborated himself in the form of this vast, limitless, as it seems, universe. For the sake of convenience, the world will be divided into two. One is the external world of objects, and the internal world of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and cognitions. Krishna is going to say that the internal world is also born out of me. All these predispositions, they refer to dispositions, mental, emotional, intellectual, uh, psychological dispositions. This is the subtle world of the jiva, the inner world. Not talk about one physiology, one body parts and so on, and color of skin. Everything in this internal universe is also born out of me. The external, of course, is the grossification of my own manifestation, which means see God in everything. You need not look at a special direction. You close your eyes, you're gonna see God as your inner world, and you open your eyes, you're gonna see God as your outer environment. First, the Antara Prapancha is enumerated. What is there inside of the human being? Varieties of thoughts, feelings, emotions, uh, concepts. We have got a number of thoughts. Krishna gives a list. We have the intellect now trying to make sense of this mess, this bombardment of impressions. The buddhi tries to process it to avoid delusion, but delusion is so common. So this is the list of internal universe. Buddhi is our intelligence, determining, discriminating, yeah, principle, faculty. We have this intellect, we have this intelligence. So I'm Jesus. I hope we do have enough intelligence to be here. At least some intelligence brought you here. If not much, there is some buddhi, some intellect there. So there is also Atmayana knowledge, you know, clarity of thinking, not delusion. Yana, knowledge. Yananam, I don't know what it means by intelligence and yananam, knowledge. Did you understand that one, Lynn?
Well, intelligence might just be referring to the natural ability and the knowledge being the outcome, knowledge of Ishvara.
So if you don't have uh, much intelligence, much intellectual, cognitive intelligence, so Buddhi is intelligence. So we have some, I hope, at least some, if not much, some of this Buddhi, this intelligence is there, the capacity to know things. Samoha means clarity of things. So we have some clarity because we all have some sattva guna at our disposal, you know. So the ability to see things as clearly as possible. It's difficult to have 100% objectification and clarification of things as far as the phenomenal world, but we need to develop that not to go into delusion. Delusion is very common. So we don't want to go, no delusion means delusion, no delusion means clarity of the thinking. We want the opposite of delusion. You can understand, Samma means patience, another virtue. Satyam, truthfulness, the truth, means Dhammahath, vigilance, discipline, self-control. Even though sense control is the property of the sense organs, but in order to control the sense organs, we need to work on our mind to develop this discipline. The mind needs to be worked upon because we have seen in Kathopanishad, sense organs are like the horse, mind is like the reins. Therefore, if the sense organs are under the control of the mind, so we are we are living a good life. Yeah. We are self-disciplined, self-controlled. The sense organs are under the control. My mind is keeping them in check. That's called Dhamma, means sense control, mind control. Mind control, I think he's going to present it more specifically. But this sense control, the control of the sense, must be obtained by the mind as as much as the thought control, control of your thoughts. Sometimes they say mind control, but means control of thoughts, just saying no to those thoughts that are not going to help us. So, and then he says, Samaha mind control. You can understand happiness, sukham, and dukkam. Now, I know what brings me peace and satisfaction, and I know what does the opposite. So, mind control means, and he keeps jumping out. He's going to unhappiness. Bhavaha means birth, origin of these thoughts or emotions. So he's still making reference to the mind because all those thoughts they originate from our subconscious mind. It's there predispositions to see the world and have some thoughts and attitudes according to those vasanas. Huh? So the birth of thoughts, the origin of these thoughts, and the thoughts always come with sensations, feelings, emotions. There is no thought. Every thought refers to an object, and if we are not deluded, the thought of the object is identical to the object, faithful to the object, and every object is going to be received, represented by the thought of the object, is going to produce a sensation, a feeling, an emotion. Usually it's an emotion of attraction or repulsion or somewhere in between. So everything belongs to this inner world, which is structured by this supreme intelligence, the Lord, the originator of everything. Abhavaha means dissolution or resolution of the thought. The thoughts appear and they resolve back into that silence or in that, you know, causal body. It comes from my Vasana load and it goes back to rest, you know, as it's in its predisposition in my Vasana road. So we have vasanas, we are moved by vasanas. It's impossible to live without vasana. In the beginning, when I got in contact with Vedanta, I was hoping that I was going to get rid of all vasanas and live without vasanas, you know. And then I understood, James helped me to understand, no, no, I mean, everybody needs vasanas. Without vasanas, you cannot live, you know. So the thoughts come resolve back into there. They have arrived on departure. All of that is my system, is Shwara's system. It's myself, including your feelings of braveness, courage, and fearlessness as well, fear. So all pairs of opposites that compose this inner uh, structure of the mind, you know, these inner tendencies or dispositions, they are all originate by me, created by me, my system. Then in the next verse, the list will continue. These are all what? Elements of our internal world. objects, subtle objects from our internal world. You know? What is the internal world? It's the mental world of the Jiva Atma, and he is still anchored to a physical body. He lives through this physical structure, interacts through this physical structure. But there is a different kind of world operating inside his mind. That is the inner internal world. Ahimsa is, again, another virtue of an effort to avoid any sort of violence. What is this mental attitude of no violence? Meant ahimsa, you know. So it's a reflection of a mature individual that is growing, and it requires enormous effort. Samatha means equanimity, poise. Now, equanimity is, vairagya. It's incredible, beautiful fruits that come from this process of spiritual elevation, purification, and knowledge. Equanimity, which brings tranquility, peace, contentment. Tapaha, austerity, the ability to have forbearance, tiksha, to take things as they come, and to live a very simple life, even as a sadhana, not to avoid further entanglement with the objects of samsara. Discipline, simplicity, and austerity. And then comes even more beauty. These beauties, you know, they're just attributes, qualities possible for the human jiva, such as generosity, a disposition to give, to be charitable, to be generous. A more generous disposition, one gives attention, one gives love, one gives all kinds of dispositions, you know. And then he goes to yasaha, fame, the thought, asyaha, ill fame. It's the negative side of that beautiful attribution of a mature, purified jiva is an all for power, control, and fame, you know, prestige and fame. So those are is all included in the disposition of Ishwara's system. Ishwara does not create that for us to suffer those things. Ishwara gave us the free will and presented its system. The whole material world is held together by causality, by this laws of karma. Huh? So the way we're going to exercise our free will give birth to all kinds of these dispositions. The most beautiful and peaceful and wonderful, joyful disposition, as well a lot of suffering, such as someone living suffering of ill fame. The list is enormous, is exhaustive. Krishna is going to carry on. He's going to the details of everything we believe belongs to us, but it's all part of His glory. Of course, we are part of His glory, therefore we need to remember our effort or our exercise of our free will is going to produce a better world or a much worse kind of world we're living in right now. It's all Ishwara, yes, but it's our karma balance, and it's all the Lord. There are various inner conditions and dispositions, all living beings, and it's all Ishwara system. It all comes from Ishwara. All these conditions originate from where? From my supreme power, my knowledge, my omniscience, my system, they are all born of me alone in their own distinct nature. All these people have distinct nature. They are all born of my knowledge. Therefore, I am the cause of the inner world of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and cognition. Later on, Krishna will point out that I am the cause of the outer physical material world as well. Later on, Krishna is going to combine both in and out together, and he'll say, I'm the cause of both. Because as we know, matter and energy are the same thing. The inner world are objects with different uh, frequency, wavelengths or frequency, and they remain subtle. And the physical material world is sought, manifest as matter. I am the cause of both worlds, therefore I am everything. This is going to be the development, details of which we'll see in the next class next Monday. Hari Om. Thank you, Krishna Ji. Thank you, Paramarthananda Swamiji. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Okidoki. We meet this coming Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Mark is still with us? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm still here. Thank you,
Okay.
Arlindo. Okay. Have a good weekend and see you on Monday.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye
Good
now.
to have
Bye, Linda.